Charleston White is officially done with Carmelo Anthony, Carmelo Anthony's family, his mama, his no good dad's daddy, aunties, cousins, anybody else who got something to do with Carmelo. Charleston White said, don't even say Carmelo in front of. He said, as soon as you say Car, he just gonna slap the shit out you. So he is done with Carmelo Anthony. And you know, I have to say, I said a lot about Carmelo Anthony. I said a lot about Carmelo Anthony's family being nothing but a bunch of grifters who collected almost over $1 million in donations and didn't even use the money towards Carmelo Anthony's legal defense. And oh, was the ignorance, you know, we call them the ends, the ignorant niggas, however you want to call it. Oh, were they mad? They came out, oh, you a raccoon, you this and that. You a traitor to your race. Oh, yeah, you Uncle Tom and all this stuff. And they were celebrating Charleston White and people like Lil Boosie, who was just broke, but now he giving a $500,000 to Carmelo. They were condemning normal, logical thinking, rational black men like me. And the examples that they were using, their references for condemning me and determining me to be a raccoon were people like Charleston White. So what do you do now when Charleston White shows you that he can be wrong about a situation and the blacks that you were calling raccoons were actually right, and now he's coming from the same position? Well, he's adopted the same opinion of Carmelo Anthony's family as we had. Do you give us some grace? Do you give us some credit? Do you acknowledge that we were right about these people all along? Or do you just continue to be ignorant and wait to find the next celebrity sucker to jump on the bandwagon of their grift and their con? 100%. Somebody say you never acknowledged. Look, bro. I did a show the other day, and I reviewed what Charleston White said, and I was like, Charleston White is wrong, and I said he was trolling when he was talking about he was with the family. Yes, I did. I said that Charleston White, if he wasn't trolling, he was an idiot and he was dead ass wrong. But now I wake up out my sleep and sit on the toilet, and now I'm finding out that Charleston White has now adopted my opinion of Carmelo Anthony and his family. Like, just admit it. The black conservatives, we are right. We have lived the black experience. We've been around black people our whole lives, grew up in the same house with black folks. We've made an assessment, and we are honest about the situation versus I can't even call these black folks liberals. I just call them ignorants because they are willfully ignorant to the reality of the situation that we are in as a community. But here's the thing. If you ignore or are willfully ignorant towards our condition and our situation, you're not doing anything. You're not helping anything. You're not even delaying the inevitable. You're just like a person sticking their head in the sand and you feel like if you don't see it, it's not happening. And then when we are man and woman enough to stand up for what's right and call a spade, y'all want to get mad at us. But what do you do when the people who were perpetuating ignorance, when the people who you were using as, a reinforcement for your ignorant opinions and perspective, what do you do when they switch sides because they see what's going on versus what you guys wish was going on? The family was 100% scamming. The family was 100% grifting. The family was totally taking advantage of other blacks, using your ability to be easily manipulated by the word racism and white supremacy. And they use that to bilk you out of millions of dollars. That's exactly what happened here. And when people like me stood up and tried to warn y'all and tell y'all that they were scamming, you didn't want to listen to us. You didn't want to listen to us. But let me let y'all hear this little clip of Charleston White so y'all could see what he had to say about the situation. Because Charleston is fed up with these folks. But Charleston was talking all that, yeah, that boy is innocent and da-da-da-da. And look how quick Charleston then switched up on you. Because they have Charleston food. He went over there and he sat with him and got to know him, and he made the one mistake You can never make when dealing with Negroes. You can't never feel sorry for them. Even if you do something nice for them, it has to be done from a place, from a business mindset or a mindset of morality. It can never be done, from emotion. Because soon as they got an inch, they're going to take a mile. They can get you feeling sorry for them. That's when they got you. You got to keep it business when you're dealing with other black folks.
Off the Karmelo Anthony case, I ain't putting no money toward that boy. His daddy too goddamn weak for me. I don't like a weak dad ain't willing to die, kill, or go to jail for nothing. And they want some bills paid. Karmelo, my heart go out to you if you ever see this video one day. I'd rather stand with the Jeff Metcalf than I would with Karmelo's daddy. Weak, dark side and subservient. I ain't standing with no weak ass black man. I'm out to catch the Uber. How long you drive? Come home, Miss. I got bad ass black soul food body. I'm like 2 of them now. I'm over so good. I go change clothes and get in the chilly.
It is getting chilly.
I think we bought water. I'm sorry that I have to announce I am stepping away from the Karmelo Anthony family. I am removing myself from the Karmelo Anthony's case. I am no longer involved with the family. And here's why. I'm not getting in bed with Black Lives Matter. I'm not getting in bed with Benjamin Crump. I'm not getting in bed with Dominique Alexander. And I'm not playing for money to pay people bills. This money is going to the Boys' Appeal. The rest of the money goes back to the donors. The rest of the money goes back to the donors. I was starting to feel like I was being used for my influence and my connections and resources. When I tell you we raised over $1 million one day, privately, quietly. They wanted to start another GoFundMe. I said, no, I'm not doing the GoFundMe. They wanted to know, after we pay for the pill, will the money go to them? No. The extra money don't go back to you. It goes back to the people who gave it. It don't go to nothing else. The money is for the pill. So, going forward, I am no longer walking with nor associated or helping Karmelo Anthony. His daddy in the way. I don't like weak, I hate weak men. I'd rather stand with a strong daddy like that Metcalf man than his black weak father trying to play victim. Now, nigga, your son's still living. Hug him, send him some books to read. I got the money, let's start to work on the pill. Anything else don't make sense. Nigga, fucking wrong with you. So, myself, along with criminal defense mitigation specialist, Shannon Ross, along with attorney Mitch Nolte, we are removing ourselves. Mitch was never on the case, but Mitch said he's not taking the case. Mitch said he's not taking the case. Why? Too many hands involved. They're trying to bring too many black lawyers involved.
Now listen. Isn't this exactly what I've been saying? All my people, the people who know me, my day ones who've been watching this channel, they can tell you. One thing about me is I'm very good at seeing when BS, bullshit, is afoot. I can look at a situation and I could tell that it's going left. Why you think I left No Jumper? For y'all No Jumper people here, I already knew that the situation was going bad. And I said, it's time for me to go. They not paying me enough to be in the blast radius of this bull crap, when it finally do explode, right? So I got on. But didn't I tell y'all this? See, Karmelo Anthony family sat on that interview and they said, well, we were listening to people when they were telling us to get a white lawyer. We were listening to people. We didn't do it the way we wanted to do it. See, they wanted to make it a circus. See, they wanted Ben Crump. They probably wanted Quanell X and all these other bamboozling black grifters and race hustlers. They wanted to bring Black Lives Matter to the situation, right? They wanted to make it a money grab for all the black grifters and swindlers who profit off of this type of nonsense, right? All the race hustlers. So what Karmelo Anthony family was really saying when they were on that interview was, we didn't get enough money out of this situation. What they were really saying was, we did not get enough money in exchange for our son's life, or for, in exchange for our son to go to prison. See, they didn't play this victim narrative to its full potential. And that's what we now have in the black community. We have an entire industry that runs off of fake claims of being a victim and Black death. We have a whole industry that runs off of race hoaxes like Juicy Smollett did, and then the bodies of black boys that are slaughtered in the street. They're basically just saying, we didn't tap in with the right hustlers. And so Charleston White, because he's been an activist for so long, I think he's real with what he does as far as trying to help the community. And when he got the money together, he said, we raised over $1 million in one day. But as soon as the family realized that they weren't going to be able to touch any of the money, that it wasn't going to just be a windfall for them once the appeal fails and then he get carted off to jail anyway, well, they wanted to get rid of Charleston, or they wanted to let other people come in, other people who have the ability to generate large amounts of money through donations. This is all a hustle, which I told you guys, but nobody wanted to believe me. And now Charleston White is telling y'all out of his own mouth.
We don't need blackness. We need righteousness. Be good, Charles. We need righteousness. We don't need blackness. So the dad done rubbed me the wrong way. Nigga, when I got an email from Mitch Nolte, one of the top attorneys, well, I didn't get the email. The email was forwarded to me. But if Mitch ain't in, and Mitch won't get in, and Mitch won't take it, it's something stinky about this. And I'm telling the nigga, say, homie, everybody believe you playing for the money, nigga. And I'm starting to believe you using me for it. You want to get the money, but then disassociate yourself from me? Nigga, I'm here for that boy. I'm here for your son, nigga. And if this money don't go directly to your son's appeal, you don't get this money. We sent it back.
Why would they give the money to the son's appeal? I want to explain something to y'all that y'all might not know. The lawyer that Karmelo Anthony had, technically, he was a paid attorney, right? Right? But he never got paid because he took the case pro bono because Karmelo's family didn't want to pay him. I'm telling y'all that right now. This what happened. This what happened. Let me just explain to y'all what happened, because this is what nobody gonna tell you about this whole situation. Karmelo Anthony family raised damn near or over $1 million with their Give, Send, Go, right? The family they wanted to get the money out. They first had the money locked up. Then they were able to start making withdrawals, right? The guy who's working the case, the guy who worked the case, the white man, he was supposed to get paid. Karmelo Anthony's family did not want to pay him. So he, not wanting Karmelo to be just strung out to dry with no real legal representation, he took the case for free. Karmelo's family actually applied for a public defender for the first case. You can go look it up. They applied, they declared themselves to be indigent, meaning they were living in poverty, and they requested that the court give them a public defender. And the other white lawyer, he just said, I'm going to take the case for free. And he did it for free. But guess what? He operated just like a free lawyer. And honestly, I think the white guy did them dirty because I believe he felt he should have got paid and they didn't want to part ways with no bread. So I think he purposely mishandled the case. I think he purposely did a bad job on the case and let Karmelo get sentenced to all them years, which he deserved. Every last one, maybe more. Now, let me tell you the funny part. Carmelo Anthony has now filed indigent again for the appeal. He is asking for the court to appoint him a public defender for the appeal. This is a fact already. You can go look it up, do your research, whatever. He already has filed for indigent and requested a public defender. So what Charleston White is understanding is the same thing I'm seeing. Y'all trying to tell the court that y'all broke so y'all could get a free lawyer, right? And then when the money come in, that people who are, they are well-intentioned, they just want to help y'all. When they send their money to you for legal representation, y'all gonna pocket that money and still use the public defender because y'all know deep down inside the appeal's not gonna work and y'all gonna get a windfall. And y'all bringing people like Ben Crump and all them people in because they're the ones who are going to show you how to get the maximum amount of money. And they know that when you say names like Ben Crump, niggas' pockets fly open and they start hitting you with the bread. That's all this is. It's just a scam niggas been running since time immemorial. We was running this shit in Africa. How you think we ended up in slavery? Like, it's a money grab. It's a hustle. They're going to get that freaking public defender and all this money y'all think y'all sending out there for legal defense. They're going to do what they're going to continue doing what they've been doing. Buying spinning rims and such. Cadillacs and Hennessy and loose women and single cigarettes and whores. This is what black people do when they get money. A lot of them. Not all of them. But a lot of them. But even the good black folks do it too a little bit. I've done it. I am not going to say I've never participated in a little fun with a loose woman. I just have to. I'm not going to say that. But I'm telling you, if you are okay with your money being spent on this shit, then send it by all means. But if you're not okay with spending your money on this, you need to know what it is. This is a hustle. What do you mean? I see you lowbrow. Time will tell. Time will tell. No, time has already told. That wasn't you, bro. That was Clarissa Lane. See, this is one of these people who just, she don't understand that fat meat greasy, right? Time will tell. Why is it when you show black folks that somebody is conning them, they don't want to, they say, well, time will tell. They got all the patience in the world. It's because people don't like admitting that they're wrong. That's the reality. People don't like admitting that they're wrong. And I'm telling you, you could send the money as much as you want. I'm just here to let you know ahead of time. And here to let you know, the people y'all call coons and Uncle Toms, we was right. We was right again. We usually are right about 99.9% of the time. We are usually right. And we were right again. You're not taking this one, Pookie.
We're sending it back, nigga. Nah, nigga, we ain't nah. Y'all go live up under the bridge. Go try for food stamp welfare. But you ain't getting this money. This money going for that baby's appeal. And if you bring any other race-baiting lawyer into it, nah, how y'all doing? He ain't like what he look like that. Yes, sir? No problem. Okay. Yeah. So, I'm not in it for the money. Long before this internet thing, I've been working with children, helping children like Karmelo Anthony, helping children like, yeah. So now, I hate to have to make this, but it was right. And if we doing an appeal, the money goes to appeal, not house bills.
Right. If we do, and Charleston White summed it up right there. If we're doing an appeal, the money goes to the appeal, not your family's bills. Oh, Brandon, you're lying. You're cooning it. Say it ain't so. Well, we use the power of the internet right here. Has Karmelo Anthony filed indigent in his appeal? Yes. Right here. Yes. Let me make that bigger for y'all in the back. Yes, Clarissa. Yes. You don't need time to tell because time is already told. It's a tell as old as time, like Beauty and the Beast. Has he filed indigent in his appeal? Yes, he has. Yes. So why are they asking y'all for money again? And Charleston knows what's up. And he doesn't want to be associated with it because Charleston wants to be able to collect some money for a good cause in the future. Karmelo Anthony has filed for indigent status as part of his appeal process. One day after his murder conviction and 35-year prison sentence, in June 2026, Karmelo Anthony submitted a notice of appeal and a pauper's oath indigency packet to the Collin County Court. In these documents, he described himself as penniless, destitute, and indigent, who is too poor to employ counsel. So why are they rearing up for round 2 of begging y'all for money? That's my question. Why is it that they are rearing up for another round of grifting y'all for y'all money? Bro didn't already say he ain't got no money. He's already asking the same quote unquote white supremacist system that he said couldn't be trusted and wrongfully sentenced him to 35 years in prison. He's already asking them to give him a lawyer. Right? Do you understand? Do you understand? This boy has already filed. This is public record. This is public record. Astronomy, I don't know what you mean proof AI can control food. Nah, AI works. AI gives people information. And the only people who don't like AI are people who are either grifters or admire and worship grifters. If you tell the truth, right? Look, here we go. This nigga mad. Africulture mad because I cooked his ass in a debate the other day. Yeah, I get it. I understand you. You my brother. The rest of these niggas, I don't know nothing about them. But he just mad because he lost a debate to me yesterday. And that's okay. But yeah. So this is AI generated 100%. But you do know if you click these links, right? There's these links. That's what y'all don't understand about AI. If you click these links, you know, they're supposed to take you to, you know, where it goes. But you can always find the links and stuff that, see right here at the bottom, it shows you the links to all the articles that this AI used. These two, Yahoo News and WFAA.com, are the ones that they're using to confirm this. So this dude has already told the court he broke. That's setting shit up so that his family can take all your damn money and use it for whatever they want to. Like I said, though, if you want to send your money, you have every right to do that as a human being. Nobody can stop you. But remember, mom and daddy said we's destitute, we's broke. My son never had a chance. Remember that? They got up there crying and carrying on, getting interviewed, hooping and hollering and whatnot. Don't forget that. But now they broke, but yet they still begging you for money. I'm just putting it out there to warn y'all so you don't get taken advantage of. That's my only job. Everything else is up to you. All decisions must be made by you.
My son is no murderer.
Yes,
my son didn't intend to hurt anyone. My son was defending himself.
No, he wasn't.
And that's what hurt so bad.
His mother recounts the moment she addressed the jury and made her.
And then they want y'all money, right? But there's nothing about their perspective that has changed. If you gonna get my money, I'm gonna need you to humble yourself. Even if you don't believe your son is a murderer, he's already been sentenced. So now it's time to swallow the humility pill, right? To see if you could do anything to ease the burden. Can we get the sentence moved from 35 to maybe 20 years? Can we get the parole date, eligibility for parole? Can we get that moved up a little bit, 10 years? You know, something like that. They're not even doing it. They're doubling down on their ignorant position. They're doubling down on this idea that we're just going to blame it all on racism. You still going to be facing white judges, 9 times out of 10, white jurors, or this time you might get the black jurors who refuse to sit on the jury, right? This time you're going to get the black jurors who refuse to sit on the jury, and maybe they'll put in a not guilty plea for you. But you know, folks already lied about the makeup of the jury. You know, black folks was out here with these narratives. Oh, the jury was all white. Bro, that jury was not all white. That jury was not all white. Now, they might not have had any black jurors because the black jurors didn't want to sit on the jury. But there was Hispanics on there. There was Asian. 3 Hispanics sat on that jury. 2 Asians sat on that jury. 2 Middle Eastern and an Indian person sat on that jury. So tell me, that was an all-white jury? That's one of the most diverse juries you'll ever find. So while y'all mad at the white people, white supremacy, then that means you got a bone to pick with the Asians, the Hispanics, the Middle Easterns, and the Indians. Because over half the jury was made up of people who aren't even white. There you go, hating on black people. Hey, look, I ain't hating on black people. See, this I love this comment by Astronomy. This is what I try to get y'all to understand and pay very close attention. Regular, normal black people are not offended by what I'm saying. If you're offended by what I'm saying, you might just be a nigga. Go look in the mirror and come back and tell me. Why a hit dog is gonna holler? I was raised right. I know right from wrong. So if somebody makes a clear distinction of what's right and wrong, I'm not offended by that. Karmelo murdered this boy. If somebody push you or threaten you, quote unquote, and they're not armed, you use your hands and your fist. That's the way that happened. You use your hands and your fist. Let me explain something to y'all real quick. Let me explain something to y'all. This is the double-mindedness of the Negro. If you watch a video on social media, right, and 2 black men get in a fist fight, boom, 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 boom. I watched the video, and these 2 dudes were supposed to fight. Bro pulled out his gun, gave it to his friend, squared up, and the dudes started fighting. The people in the comments were like, man, I'm just glad these youngsters got down the old way. I'm glad they handle business like we used to, you know, hand to hand, man to man, get beat up like your daddy used to quote Friday. These was all black people in the comments saying this. That's respect. That's the way men handle things. That's what black folks say, right? But then the same black folks turn around, and when Karmelo Anthony was pushed, right, when he was pushed, he pulls out a knife, impales a man through his heart, and they like, yeah, that was the right thing to do. Yeah, that was fair. Yeah, he was in fear for his life. So make up your mind, double-minded Negroes. Is it right to use these when somebody come at you foul? Do you just use the hands and catch the fair one? Or do you pull out a knife and impale somebody through the heart? See, it's not me who's being hypocritical. It's not me who is being hypocritical. It is the community that I was born into that has a nature of being hypocritical. A community in which many of whom are members are totally arbitrary and selective when it comes to their value system and their understanding or their understanding of what's wrong and what's right. There's nothing wrong with me. If you disagree with what I'm saying, that clearly shows that there's something wrong with you. That's the issue here. Karmelo did some bitch shit. In our community, if that would have been two black dudes, the people would have said, that was some bitch ass shit that bro did. Somebody push you and you pull out a knife and stab him in the chest? That's crazy. But because this person was white, and a lot of black people want to entertain this lie, it's an absolute lie, that they don't like white folks and white folks is white folks. Man, black people love white folks. Black folks want to kiss white folks' dirty damn drawers and lick their boots, most of these black folks. Trust me. But a black person do a popular dance, niggas talking about, he's invited to the cookout. That's real. He's invited to the cookout. Y'all want to invite white people everywhere at the drop of a hat. Anytime you do something good, you like a dog you like a cat that caught a mouse and you want to go show white folks how good you did something. Now you going to come at me, talk about, oh yeah, he's a coon. No, you're the bootlicker. You're just mad because I'm showing you and proving to you how much of a bootlicker you really are. Look, I'll put the link in the comments. I want y'all to come up here and tell me where my observation was wrong. If somebody pull out a weapon, two black dudes fighting, or some go down, and somebody pull out a weapon and kill the other black dude, in the black community, is he not going to be called a B? Are people not going to say, hey, that was some whole ass shit bro did? That's just the way we was raised. Ain't it crazy how black people, we so strong and we so much more powerful than everybody else, but then when we do some whole shit like that, all of a sudden we the most feeble, scared, little docile, can't defend ourselves? Ain't that crazy to me? Ain't that crazy to y'all? I don't know why the link's not working. Ain't that crazy? Because I agree. I agree that in many ways, black people are physically dominant over all, if not most, groups of people. But see, you got to pick one. You can't constantly talk about how you physically dominant and more superior and you're superior to everybody, then claim the victim and you scared. Which one is it? Is you scared? Or are you superior and more physically dominant than them? Because, let's be real. Karmelo could have just walked away. The video is right there, and you don't need grainy footage. The footage can be grainy, and you can still see. You can still see that Karmelo could have just turned around and just walked off. I don't know why the link is not working. I put in the comments. But yeah, people, that you're mad at me because I won't jump on the bandwagon of dishonesty with a lot of black folks. But when you do that, that just shows you're not intelligent. Either you're intellectually touched, you're slow, you're delayed, or you're emotionally unintelligent. That's what I'm saying. That's the whole thing. Nobody, this is the thing. Nobody on earth can say that they think it would be fair if they kid pushed somebody and then that person stabbed them in the heart with a knife and killed them. Nobody on earth could say that. That they would think that was okay. The only reason you think this is okay is because it's not your kid. That's it. No, look, Scanner, I'm with you. That black people are not as physically dominant as we think we are in certain aspects. But it's very clear that once black people get involved in a certain sport or something, it's only a matter of time before we take over. Who's the number one greatest MMA fighter ever? Black. Greatest football player? Black. Well, Tom Brady quarterback, but that's different. But black. In all sports, black people dominate. There's not ever going to be a white person who holds the record of the world's fastest man. Not for a long time. In the pursuit of sports and athletics, we are dominant there. That I mean, statistically speaking, y'all had baseball for a while. Black people was coming on strong. Then y'all started camps where y'all go get Dominican kids when they 3 years old and train them to be in the MLB. I'm just being real. I'm just being real. There are many ways in which black people are dominant. Now, if you're talking about building safe, stable societies, white folks got the monopoly on that. Soon, I believe, to be surpassed by Asians. Africulture.
What's good, my boy?
What's up, man?
Man, I'm cooling, man. I just don't understand where
How am I a race
does this,
baiter? Oh, somebody said I'm a race baiter. What the hell are you talking about?
I don't understand where does this sentiment come from. Like you said earlier, back in the gap when we was coming up in our generation, like in the 2000s and shit, when we was stumping around in high school and out of high school, shit like that. Man, when you got caught with a weapon, even if somebody was jumping you, bro, you got looked on as a mark ass nigga. You was a mark. You know what
That
I'm
was a
saying?
mark move that Carmelo pulled too.
Exactly.
And you from Texas, right?
Yes, yes, I didn't being jumped. I didn't ran away from being jumped, and I'm still here. Know what I'm
Bro, I
saying?
got jumped and had a gun on me.
Yep.
I did not pull it out and shoot nobody.
Nobody, bruh. I didn't seen niggas get beat up and then come back with a gun. They looked at that nigga as a bitch ass nigga. Like, my bad, I ain't mean to be cussing on
No,
your
you
stuff.
good.
But they looked at him as a mark, a buster, a coward, all that type of shit. Know what I'm saying? I don't understand where y'all coming from with this shit. Like, I really don't get it. I don't get it. Like, the nigga was one of the fastest, he probably one of the fastest niggas in Texas. That nigga
Yeah.
could have ran easily, bro.
Yeah.
He could have ran away from them boys and none of them would have caught him. I don't give a damn how big them white boys was. And don't get me wrong, them white boys do be big. They be big as hell. But niggas be big too. Like that little dude was 6 feet. You know what I'm saying? He probably wasn't over 200 pounds, but 6 feet ain't no little dude. You know what I'm saying? He probably had a long stride and everything. He could have ran away from them people, dog, and fought another day.
No, 100%, man. Like, the thing was, if what the kids who were the witnesses said, the boy Austin told him, like, bro, I'm not going to fight you at a track meet. So, from what the witnesses said, they were like, bro said he literally wasn't going to fight him. And then, my thing is this. It takes a lot of effort to pierce someone's heart with a 3-inch knife. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yes.
It takes a lot of effort to pierce. You need over 10 pounds of pressure to pierce someone's heart with a 3-inch knife. That was, I mean, even if you got a knife, bro, people be like swinging knives to slash. They might try to jig you just to get a little, just to poke you or whatever. Bro, this man had to come down Michael Myers style on bro chest to drive that into, like, bro was not a weak, feeble person.
No.
Like, this takes effort. You got tissue, you got bone, you got all types of shit you got to get through the human heart. You got to get through the chest plate. Like, this was, to me, it was not something, to me, it was something that was premeditated and it was something that was intentional.
And
But he never thought about leaving.
Okay,
Wait,
brother.
hold on.
Explain that to me.
Hold on
Explain
one
what you
second.
just said to me.
Hold on 1 second. Let
Okay.
Africulture respond, and then you're next. Go ahead, Africulture.
Well, I just want to add, like, I'm actually surprised at the sentence that he got. He got 35, but he got 17 with parole. Like he could do 17 and then get out. Know what I'm
And
saying? But
stab
people
again.
still, yeah, but people still talking about that it's racism, bro. At this point, it's pretty evident that we have a problem in our community. It's definitely a problem. It's a bad problem, bro.
Our community is getting more desensitized to violence. That's the problem. That's why. But go ahead, brother James Mullins.
Yes, I wanted you to clarify a point you had made. You just made the point, and I wanted you to explain it. I'm trying to think because I was listening to the other brother and I lost my train of thought. Well, let me
My
just go
bad.
ahead and make my comments. Then, maybe y'all could fill in. Now I'm 56, so I was born in 70. And I grew up in a really rough neighborhood, South Linden, Columbus, Ohio. And then I moved to the South Bronx trying to escape that ghetto because New York, at least they could make rap music. And, there was a way for me to make some money in the 80s and the 90s. So I've been in the roughest hoods in the United States, at least in the Midwest. I'm 3 hours from Chicago. I'm about 3 hours from Detroit. Cincinnati's right around the corner. Columbus is pretty rough. Ohio's rough. We know our neighborhoods. We know we're prone to violence. We know we're plagued by violence, but we're not the only ones. Okay. You look at their community, the YT community, they have a lot of mass shooters and they have a lot of problems and drug addictions and things in their community. It's just not spotlighted in their entertainment like it is in ours. And we put it all in our music and we glorify it. And it's pretty much
Mm-hmm.
we glorifying our own Holocaust.
Yep.
But in response to the brother with the stabbing, he's a little dude and to me, he didn't want to be intimidated, but he was intimidated. And he moved by fear. And that kind of adrenaline, you can drive a small instrument into somebody's chest if you have the fear factor, if you have the adrenaline going for you. Where I'm from, we try to keep our mouth closed and we keep our eyes to ourselves because there are no rules in the streets. So just because you got wins with the fist, I grew up boxing, taking martial arts since I was 7, wrestling. I'm only 5'5", and in my top weight, I was 160 pounds, but I had 315 on the bench, and I was a bouncer, and I did personal bodyguard service, and I even did retail security in the South Bronx. I'm a tough dude, and I've been in a lot of fights in clubs. I've been in a lot of fights in the streets, and I tell you right now, there are no rules. So if I'm carrying my pistol, if I'm carrying a knife, even though I got wins, I'll probably stab you or I'll probably cap you because I don't want you to take my weapon, or I don't know if you got a weapon on you. If, I'm beating you or I'm dominating you. That's just the streets. He shouldn't have put his hands on the young man. That's what people have to look at, because at some point, self-defense or being fearful of your life or standing your own ground, it had to come into play, but it didn't come into play with Karmelo. It doesn't come into play with us. But, I see a lot of podcasters from our community speaking down on the community regarding Karmelo. But if I was to look at your track record, brother Brandon, or other podcasters, and I say, let's go back and look at all your YouTube videos. Let's look at all your social media content. How much do you have when they were lynching us just this year and last year? They were finding lynched bodies down south in Virginia, Texas, and other places, I believe. When are y'all going to focus on the ills and wrongs being done to your own community like you stand up for this one?
We do.
Are you scared? Are you nervous?
we
Talk to me.
we do talk about those things, but the problem is when you do real research, you find out that most of that stuff is hoaxes. So we've all went out on a limb, crusading for black people. Oh, this person got lynched. Then a couple of weeks later, you find out that it was the dude on Friends who did it to him, or some like the Jussie Smollett stuff. A lot of black content creators jumped out on that. Then we all looked like idiots when it came out that this was a whole hoax and bro tried to set something up. My thing I want to explain to you is this. You, I think, might be a bit older than me. There's only one thing I thought when you said everything you said, and I was listening to you. You ain't in a damn street, brother. This is a school event. I carried a gun too. I carried a gun to school because I was in a gang and we were in a war with Mexicans, and I went to a Mexican school. But I never took a gun to a school football game, volleyball game, none of that. And even if I got in a fight at school with someone 10 times bigger than me, and we went to school with Samoans, okay? So it was always some 6'5", 300-pound Samoans running around. It was all fists. The guns was for gunplay. The guns was for gang stuff that happened outside the school when you trying to get home. This boy was at a track meet. He was an athlete at the track meet participating in it. There is no justification for why this boy brought a knife.
Let me ask, because I don't know all the details of the case. Were they from the same school or rival schools? What was
Rival
the
schools.
situation?
Different schools.
Rival schools.
Okay, so why did he need to take shelter under their tent? What was that
That's
It
all
what
was
about?
everyone's
raining.
trying to find out, but they said it was raining.
It was raining. And did he just go in to keep shelter? Did he go in speaking to them or taunting them because they're another team? See, everybody's bringing racism into this. I see it as a Gen Z thing. To me, Gen Z is unhinged a little bit, no matter what nationality or community they
That's
live in.
true.
And I think it was two Gen Z that, Gen Z to me don't know how to communicate. And I just think it was something that shouldn't have happened on both sides. And I don't think the kid went in with no premeditation to start trouble with that little tiny knife, thinking he gonna do any harm. As much as people are strapped these days, I really don't think he intended on that. I think that he didn't want to back down, and he was scared, and he reacted out of that fear. Now, 2020 hindsight, maybe he should have just walked away. That's the smartest thing to do, looking at that situation. But the man that put his hands on him, he's accountable for his own actions.
But he's not a man. He's at a school event. On top of that, from what the witnesses said, all 23 of them, they said Austin told Karmelo, dude, I'm not going to fight you at a track meet. So this idea that people are like, he was intimidated, he was this, he was that. End of the day, you at school, you throw these. You in the street, it is what it is. Anything goes. This boy wasn't in the street. This boy was at a school event. He knew better, and he had the opportunity to walk away. When you use lethal force, one thing you got to understand, you know off rip when you use lethal force, you going to jail. Whether it's for 24 hours while they figure stuff out or for 35 years, right? So you
Right.
pull that out as a last resort because you know either way there will be consequences for you having that thing in a place you're not supposed to have it. That's why when I carried a gun to school, right, it was never coming out because I said there's nothing in this school that can do anything to me that will warrant me having this gun, barring a school shooting or something. So I knew that. Now when I'm walking to the bus stop at nighttime after football practice, that gun is on my mind. And you might have to do something if it's the wrong set of circumstances. Like I told my bro, Africulture, bro, I've gotten jumped with a gun in my backpack.
Yeah, I heard you
And
say
I
that.
just fought. We fought. I got hit in the mouth. We squabbled up. They ran off. I walked to the bus stop because it was not a situation where I needed to take a life. Take the beating if you have to. And when you do carry a gun and you are in a gang, you understand your manhood is not tied up in, oh, this guy pushed me and stuff, because you know you have the power of life and death in your hands, and you got to be responsible with it.
Right, and that's the one point I agree with you on. I've been carrying guns since I was 12 years old. So that's back in 1982. I really started at 12 and 14. And that's because in my neighborhood, you had older men that would actually snatch up young girls. And I have two sisters, and they would even snatch up young men. Okay, so I strapped up because I lived in a bad neighborhood. Now, as I got older and I realized that times had changed because I was real good with my hands. I love fighting for sport. And, I just loved fist fighting when I was coming up. But when the crack era hit, like the 1985, 86, everybody stopped with the fist. So the general rule was, since nobody else is going to come out and shoot me a fair one, I'm not trying to play with nobody no more. So any altercation with me, I don't care if it's in the grocery store, I don't care where it's at. God forbid there's women and children around. Somebody's going to get smoked right off the bat. But a fair thing to say is I don't go nowhere for that reason. I stay away from parties. I stay away from clubs. I stay away from crowds, even if it's a downtown gathering. And when I go out, I take care of my business. I mind my business, and I get in my car and I go home and I stay home. I'm a homebody for that reason. I know me. I know I'm volatile, and I know times have changed. And at the heat of the moment, people really don't think about the consequences. So this is something that could happen to me very easily. And I think by the grace of God, it didn't happen. I
Yeah.
even got in a fist fight with the police. I should have been shot by the police. I didn't fought the police probably 4 or 5 times in my life. And God has been with me. They give me fair ones or they jump me, but they never club me. They never even tased me. One threatened to tase me once because I'm a wild boy, and I've never been, harmed by the police. And I thank God for that, and I stay out of their way. I give them their respect. I give every man his respect. I'm very courteous. I pick up the Bible. I'm a Christian. I'm a devout Christian now. So I hold open doors for everybody. I try to do the right thing, and I try to stay out of arguments, and I try to stay out of everybody's way. For this reason, the Karmelo incident, I don't want that to happen to me. And I wish the young brother could have had a cooler head that prevailed, and he just walked away from their section, even in the rain, and just keep the peace. That's what I
As
wish
a
would have happened.
as
He'll
a
still be
boy,
free right now.
as a boy with a father in your home, that's why I was so mad at the parents because, I raised my two nephews. They lived in my house and they went to high school and stuff like that. And I had one, he was a little bit more chill, and the other one, he's a little high head, right? But we didn't have no fights or nothing. And the one fight that one of my nephews had, he was defending his little brother who got a mouth on him, right? But I always taught them, listen, don't let your ego get caught up in this stuff. You're an athlete. You're going to do great things. One's at Northridge right now for volleyball. The other one, he's working. You can't let a temporary situation have a lifetime or lasting impact on your life. Walk away. If somebody asks you to leave their section and it's their section, it don't matter. Like Les Brown say, the reasons don't matter. The only thing that matters is the result. I'm a grown ass man. If that kid would have said, hey, are you cheering for the other school? Yeah. Hey, it happens all the time at sporting events. Hey, you sitting on the wrong side. It's happened to me.
Yeah, I've
I'll be
seen
cheering
parents
for
get
one.
out there fighting over.
Yeah,
over
they'll say
stuff.
you sitting on the wrong side, and me, I don't even realize. I'm just gonna sit closest place to sit down, and I said, "Oh, my bad," and I'll get up and I'll go to the other side. That's a respect thing, and that's respect. That's always, even if you go to the NFL games, they sit the rivals on opposite sides. So even if he didn't have any malicious intent, even if they weren't justified in telling him to move, at the end of the day, respect should be at the forefront. And bro should have just got up and took his ass up out of the area.
I don't care
Well,
what nobody say. That boy wasn't that scared. That boy was a running back, man. That boy get hit for a living, man.
He won
That boy,
60.
that boy wasn't. That boy wasn't that. Yeah, he might not be that big, you
No,
know.
that's big to me. In high school, 160 is big, bro. In high school,
And some people got him listed as 5'11", 6 feet. You know what I'm saying? That boy
he's
ain't.
6 foot 160.
Yeah,
who
that
was
boy
that?
ain't no
Carmelo?
punk, dog. I
He's
don't
Yeah.
care what
160
nobody say.
Yes.
at
On
6 foot.
max preps.
Man, what are they feeding these kids these days?
He
That's what
about the
I'm saying.
same height as me, bro. That
In
nigga,
high school, that is big.
yeah.
In high school, I was two. At my biggest, I was 220 in high school, and I was huge. I was a defensive lineman.
Hmm.
So all the skill positions, they was between 160 and 180. They were not big.
Yep. And he's 6 foot. He taller than most average, average height dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like he gonna be taller than me when he get out of, like, if he get out in a couple like 10, 17 years, he
He gonna
gonna
be swole.
he gonna be probably about 6'3", 6'4". You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Well, then let me ask y'all: did y'all watch the trial? Did y'all get any like? Did y'all get to hear his remarks or how he was feeling or what was going on in his mind? Did
He,
you get a
he
chance
never
to say?
he never made any remarks. The trial was not televised. No cameras were allowed. You just got what the people who were in the courtroom, the court reporters, were able to say. And he didn't testify, which a lot of people think he should have. I personally don't think he should have. And it just was like he just had an emotionless look on his face, and he had a very like straightforward look on his face. Like that guy, I said that kid might be on the spectrum of autism because I never see any change in emotion on his face. He's always like just kind of
Well, that's
regular.
what some people. Well, I don't know. I'll take his word with a grain of salt because I don't like him too much anyway. Charleston White. He said he was on the autistic spectrum. Um, I hope that's not the case because I really feel bad for the kids that suffer from autism and different mental disorders. I really feel bad for Carmelo. I feel bad for the father, that lost his son. I have a daughter, my only child, and she's 17. I can't imagine losing my child. So,
No
I
facts.
wouldn't wish that on any parent. And this is a dangerous world. This is a very perilous world we live in. And I think about that all the time, because you heard of hostile takeovers or street takeovers. They had one here. and I moved to the suburbs. I got out of the hood to get away from that, but they got a blacktop here, and all the young thugs came from all the hoods, and they did a hostile takeover, and they started shooting their pistols. They let off 80 rounds
Yeah,
that
crazy.
night, and so
They
I
just
had
had one in Houston like that last night.
Yeah.
yeah, I had to have my wife and daughter lay on the floor, and I felt really bad because that stuff I did in the South Bronx. I never thought that they would have to go through that. But then I went
Right.
and got my pistol, and I went to my back gate, and I could see the kids through my gate, and I said to myself, "What are you doing?
Right.
Don't add to it. You're mad. Just get control of your temper. My daughter's okay. My wife's okay. Just let it slide." And I just came in the crib and I put my gun away. I don't know how to get adjusted to this world we're living
See, but the thing is,
so,
it's a man's nature to protect his family, and the problem is they've put these like limitations on what men and parents can do. So like you can't, if you do something to them, you gonna go to jail, right? They the victim. But nobody thinks about the other victims like your wife and your daughter who are having to lay on the floor in the safety of their own home because some knuckleheads want to be knuckleheads in the backyard next door. And there's gonna have to be some type of referendum on this situation or moratorium on this situation because it's getting out of hand. And the parents, like I was talking to my girl last night, my homegirl, she said they want to hold the parents accountable for what the kids do, but they didn't strip the parents of the ability to discipline the kid. So how you hold a parent accountable for a kid that they can't control because their control has been stripped away by the society, the government, the authorities. So it's a real slippery slope, and I think we're gonna have to end up. I don't want it to end up like the Biden crime bill, where black folks become so enraged about the crime in their community, they go to the government and beg the government to take away their liberties and throw people in jail for ridiculously long sentences. But I believe it's going back that way because at a point, people are going to get sick of this mess and they're going to go to the politicians and say, throw the book at everybody to deter what they're doing. But if we have a chance to do something about it, but I think that's where it's headed.
I, I think I think Carmelo Anthony. Now, as far as the appeal setup go, you know what I'm saying. I see some holes in that appeal that could make it work, but I think he messed up at the beginning when he admitted to everything. You know what I'm saying? When he had the initial encounter with the police, he
Mhm.
said, "Yeah, I did it." I think really that messed up his chances of an appeal, but they do have like a good attorney. I mean, if they do their research, they really can do something. I don't really know what it is, but something can shake with that appeal because they had another case that was like that, and I don't know if it was the same exact county, but it was somewhere in Dallas out there, and this little, I think it was a little white kid. He stabbed up a little Hispanic dude that was trying to fight him or whatever. So, but he actually represented himself. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I
I
I
think
I I don't know that dude. He only got like 2 years for like manslaughter or some shit or negligent manslaughter
did that
or some
person did
shit
they
like that.
pass away as a result of their
Yeah,
injuries?
I think the other guy passed away. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I was thinking Carmelo should have gotten second degree or manslaughter. I don't think it was premeditated. I don't know how they came to that. Um, the jury, I don't know how they came to that verdict. I
It
would have
well,
has
to
to
know more
be
his
about
his
the
attorney
case.
didn't do
it
nothing.
has to be premeditated because he said, touch me and see what happened. So at that point, he thought it through. Like, if this guy touched me, I'm going to stab his ass.
I
That's
see what you're saying.
premeditation.
And,
Yeah.
Okay.
and then the defense didn't even really present their case. I mean,
They represent
supposedly,
him like free lawyers.
yeah, they they
Like,
they was garbage. Like they should have used their money wisely and got a real attorney.
yeah, I had a gun charge when I was younger. That lawyer ended up costing my granddaddy about $8,000 to get me off of that. Lawyers cost. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
You get a free lawyer, you gonna get what you pay for.
Well, 8,000, man, you made out like a bandit. I think
Yeah,
anything dealing with a homicide is 50,000 just to start, for retainer.
I was grateful. And let me tell you what's crazy. You pay that money. I had a lawyer out of the Cochran law firm called his name was Marshall Broadway. He walked in. He said, "Look, you're gonna get a misdemeanor." And walked up in there. because I was in jail. He came visit me in jail. Said, "You gonna get a misdemeanor. You gonna plead to it. We gonna went in there. I got this. It was a shooting, so he got it reduced down to discharging a weapon within city limits, and so it was a minor. It was a misdemeanor. I still retained all my rights to own a gun and all that,
You
but it
discharged
cost
it?
money. Yeah, I actually shot at somebody, but the
Oh, that's
thing,
felonious assault. I'm surprised you didn't do about 3 years behind that.
no, the person didn't come. It was some gang shit, but they didn't come to court at all. So
Oh,
they were
okay.
trying to get me for I forget exactly what it was, but basically it was like um reckless endangerment, something
Reckless
like that.
endangerment. Right.
Yeah, and then they got it reduced down to discharging a weapon which within city limits, which is a minor offense.
Man, you had a great attorney. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, he at Cochran Law Firm, dude. Marshall. I wonder if that guy's still alive. But he came to visit me in jail and was like, "You going?" He's like, "You going?" He's like, "You gonna get a? It's gonna be a misdemeanor. You gonna get out the same day." Them dudes know. They know once the judges and once the prosecutors know who it is, know where they coming from. It's like they are already. They know they dealing with somebody who's ready to drag it out with them, and so they just agreed to it. And I was out of there as soon as that day I got released from court.
Well, what I see different from my generation, Gen X to Gen Z, when we were coming up, I guess I'm looking at how Gen Z look at us. I guess we all came up rough. If you came up in Gen X, according to Gen Z, we're tough. But coming up in that era, if you weren't a tough guy, you didn't pretend to be a tough guy.
Yeah.
Being a tough guy was only for the tough guys. Now, what I see today with the media, especially the rap, and now social media with all these dudes coming out of prison and OG this and OG that, they want to get up here and they feed a lot of unnecessary BS to the younger generation, especially in our community. And I wish they stop, because now all Gen Z want to be is YNs, and they think that makes them tough. And they're making a lot of mistakes in life. They're making life very difficult for themselves and their whole community. And I hope they don't go to prison to find out that they're not tough guys. And I'm sad to say I think a lot of them are, or a lot of them end up in the grave. Everybody don't have to be tough. That's just something that Gen X is selling right now, because they're making money as podcasters on social media, and they're making money in the rap studios. And I wish they stop. This is why you got Karmelo, I think, charged up the way he was, and so many other young people. They're way charged up, they're way turned up, and a lot of them ain't built like that. They're not built for the actual combat, and they're not built for the consequences.
Right.
You know,
Right.
when we were coming up, we went to dojos, we went to martial arts schools, we went to boxing classes, we went to wrestling classes. So it's not something you could watch MMA on TV and you get out and say, "Hey, I'm gonna lift a few weights, drink an energy drink, and I'm gonna come out and bust somebody's ass."
Well,
Because, you can get unalive by, with martial arts with the bare hands if you don't know what you're doing.
no,
So
seriously.
Just fight.
When you in the streets, right, and you coming up, and I think the generations there's always gonna be knuckleheads, right? But what you learn is this situation is not the same as this situation. So if you at the park in the hood and a fight break out, you like this could result in somebody getting killed because somebody could pull out a gun. Woo, woo, woo. If a fight break out in the cafeteria at high school, you have to have the knowledge to understand this is not the same as being in the street. This is at school. So that's one of the things that we learned coming up, being in gangs and stuff. We understood the separation between the streets and school stuff. Somebody could talk stuff all day at school. You damn near wouldn't even react to it. Same thing happened in the street from somebody from a rival gang or something. That might end up being a real serious situation. But the whole thing with this is this guy Karmelo is that kid who people will look at and say, "Hey, this guy is on a bad path." And when you look at his social media and stuff, you could just see he was on the road to doing, being a problem. And he just got in a situation that he really didn't have the discipline or maybe even the experience to like separate from this street persona that he was trying to like build, that he was embracing. So
Okay, yeah, I want you to expound on that because I was hearing that he saved kids' lives and he was a good kid. So I'm under the impression that he's a good kid that's trying to be something he's not, that's trying to be tough, that's trying to be gangster.
That's what he
I don't know
was.
the case. So, what did y'all pick up from that? Was he a good kid or was he doing criminal things? What was up with him?
I just don't understand where do you have to go in your mind to impale somebody through the heart? Like with a knife, like we've all been involved with knife situations, and it's just like a little jug or a swipe, or, a slice. You grew up in the Bronx, people hit you in the face with the razor blade from under the tongue, whatever. I understand that. But to impale somebody through their heart, bro, that takes a significant amount of effort. Like you don't accidentally impale somebody through the heart with a knife, bro. Like that don't happen by accident.
I don't think he did it intentional. I just think it was just the worst case scenario. Like, why did it have to hit him in the heart? Such a short blade. He put that blade in the precise place. I mean, that was a big kid, so the kid probably had a big heart. But I mean, to hit somebody in the heart, unless he understands the anatomy, unless he's done this before or he's meditated on it, I don't think me taking martial arts, that's, I studied the anatomy charts for your major arteries and whatnot. So I know how to bleed you out with a knife. I can bleed you out from under your arm or your thigh. I don't need to hit a vital organ. But for that
Right.
kid to hit a vital organ, I don't think that's something that he trained for. He's not a
Yeah, that
Marine
could
or
have been
something. I just think
premeditated.
it was a bad situation.
And that's what I'm saying with the knife, right? Usually when people die from a knife wound, it's usually they're hitting an artery in your arm. That's the majority of cases. You get hit in your arm or your leg, they hit an artery and you bleed out. This guy got pierced through the heart, puncturing bone. He went through the chest
The
plate, man.
breastplate, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was such a short case. They didn't even need to go into all that, but something's going on there. And I think there's more that we will never know. But let me get this super chat. Then I want to play this clip and I want to get you guys' opinion on this. Shout out to my brother Turney Tyke. They claim the court was rigged, yet are begging the court for representation for the second time. That is what I was saying. It's a racist system, but you begging for a racist system to give you a paid attorney. Thank you for the $5 holler. I appreciate you. One step closer. Guys, we have a challenge. We're asking for $5, $10 super chats if you are in a position to do so. If you are not, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Let people know we over here cooking. I like the vibe of this show. I like noon on a Sunday. It's a beautiful day, so I'm about to get outside, and I already been outside, but I had to come in here to do this with y'all. Now, I want to show y'all a video of a fight from 11 years ago. And I want you guys to tell me, at what point do you feel like one of these kids would have been warranted in pulling out a knife and stabbing the other person? Because I see a lot of people saying, well, Karmelo was bullied. Karmelo was bullied, right? And my thing is like this: bullying is not something to me that happens in one day or in a 5-minute period. Bullying is something that happens continuously. And if a person lashes out in that case, I understand it. But when this is someone you've never met, you didn't know, and they're like, hey, leave. Before I fight with that person, I don't have to see you every day. I don't have to deal with you after this. I'ma just take off. I'ma just go. Hey, screw this dude. I got an event. Especially if I am an athlete at a track event and that I am participating in. Your focus should be on the field or the track and doing what you got to do. So let's watch this fight, because bullying and what's self-defense and what's a threat clearly has changed in these days.
You need to call. I'm finna choke your little ass up, boy. Yeah. Yeah, where it's at?
So there's a threat. He says, where's the ball? I'm finna choke your little ass up, boy, blah, blah. He's selling wolf tickets walking up. So is this kid warranted to pull out a knife and stab this dude in the chest? The threats were made. Bro's walking up in an aggressive manner, right? Let's see what they do.
Where it's at?
One of them boys had it.
Where it's at?
One of my friends got it.
What boys?
One of my friends
What
got it.
boys?
One of my friends got it.
Record it all you want. Record it all you want. Let's go get it. Let's go get it.
They live by him.
Okay, by where?
They live by him.
By where?
They live by him.
By where?
Down the over
By
there.
where? All right, let's go.
By a blue house.
Okay.
They live in a blue house.
So you study want to fuck with me, right? You study want to fuck with me, right? I'm gonna show you what to do, boy.
Hey,
call
folks.
Nah.
Call folks.
We finna just call the police. I ain't even finna touch this
No,
little boy.
fuck
Them just came back and said these
So I guess
Now what? So
Judy-
what? So what I'm saying is, That to me was more volatile than the situation between Karmelo and Austin. This
Yeah,
is like,
that's volatile. Yeah, that when he approached him, that's assault by law. Just
yes,
coming aggressive like that, that's assault. Now, someone like me at my age, he would have got a leopard paw straight to the throat, to the Adam's apple. I mean, I'm not even gonna play with you. You come up to
which
me,
would have been justified because you're coming up in an
yeah,
aggressive way. So what I'm saying is these guys were, in my opinion, a more tense situation. Plus, it's in the street, so don't nobody know what's gonna happen. But they didn't resort to stabbing and killing each other.
but you notice the guy kept saying, call folks. So these are GD's gangster disciples or black disciples. That's what I'm saying. It's too many people that want to be in gangs in this generation. When I was coming up, yeah, I rode with the Crips, but to be a Crip was like a mystery to my mother, to my brothers, anybody that wasn't in the set. We were in the first set in my community, but it was not like everybody could be a Crip. It was something nobody wanted to be, and you had to be selected to be one. You didn't always get jumped in. Sometimes, we jump on each other to test each other's skills, but depending on who you are, you don't have to get jumped in, and you're not going to get put off depending on who you are. If people love you, they love you. If you're a Crip, you don't have to be a killer. You don't have to be in crime. You don't have to be a troublemaker. You just have to be a cool brother that got your other brothers' backs, and only when they're doing right. Because I'm not going to go out here and start gang banging over colors and all that. And that's why I had to leave when it all started to shift and change. But now everybody's a Crip. As long as you get a neck tat or you get some tattoos on your face and you can do a couple push-ups, they'll take you in the sets now. They're letting too many of these young people join, and they're not selective enough. Now everybody wants to be a gang banger. This is the problem with Gen Z, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I hope nothing comes across my way. I really do.
And what people don't understand, and what you have to understand going forward, right? You guys could say whatever. He wasn't getting jumped. Look, my people, black. I know those are black people saying that. They had 23 witnesses who testified. One of the witnesses is the boyfriend of Karmelo, friend or whatever. One of the dudes said he knew Karmelo in pictures and everything. Not one of those witnesses, all 23 of them, none of them said he got jumped. So if you're a person who wasn't there, you weren't a witness personally, you are a person who don't really know the details of the case, why you got to look within and say, why am I so intellectually dishonest as a human being that I continue to throw out an absolute lie in hopes that it will justify a murder that was committed? What I'm trying to get y'all to understand is this. The reasons don't matter. You're sitting in a jury. The jury that's looking at Karmelo, those people come from that generation. That's why I purposely played an 11-year-old video. The people who are going to judge Karmelo, they're coming from a generation where something like what we just watched could happen, and we're looking at that like that's not really a big deal. They didn't end up fighting, and it was a lot of aggression and a lot of things said, but it didn't resort to stabbing or shooting. So do you think they're going to look at the situation between Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony and say, yeah, that warranted a stabbing? No, the jurors are thicker skinned people from an older generation who are going to look at Carmelo as a person who overreacted in a situation that didn't require all that. And we just watched a situation where we even said if bro would have lashed out and hit dude or whatever, it would have been justified. And if you ever do a crime or do something, always remember your jury is not necessarily going to be from the same generation as you. And different generations have different views on what is extreme and what is warranted. What we're telling you is it doesn't matter nothing in that situation. Bar from he's getting pounced on by 5 dudes. I would have said, okay, he got jumped by 5 dudes. He did not. It was one dude who approached him. Based on the witness statements, he got shoved a little bit. The dude said, I'm not going to fight you at a track meet. And then Carmelo stabbed bro. And they also said, Austin Metcalf said, bro, you ain't got nothing in that bag. Because that area where they live, what happened is not something that's common. People ain't bringing guns to school.
Because I was just thinking that. It sounded like to me Austin Metcalf got caught off guard.
He did.
Because if you initiated a shove, I'm thinking in my mind, if you initiated a shove, how did you allow yourself to be lunged at? How do you get that position? So he probably thought Carmelo was bluffing, or he probably didn't think it was that serious,
Fri-
and that's how that happened.
Frisco, Texas meets Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That's what happened.
Yep,
Carmelo is
that's
from
where he
Baton
from.
Rouge, where niggas get crazy, and
Yep.
Carmelo is from Pleasantville, a bunch of white jocks. You know what I'm saying? They ain't thinking somebody gonna try to kill somebody. Even if he did push him, somebody push your ass, push their ass back. Somebody, and I say hit their ass if they push you, but if someone push you, push them back. Someone hit you, hit them back. Or if you want to hit them, whatever. But this is a school event. And that's what these people in my comments don't understand. You cannot act like you own the streets at a
Right.
school event.
Well, yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. We can't have kids stabbing and shooting each other in school. I mean, the law has to make that apparent. But what I'm saying is it has to be done across the board. It didn't, to me, it didn't have nothing to do with racism until the courts got involved and people felt like he didn't get a jury of his peers. People felt like his lawyers were just railroading him. They were asleep on the job. And then, you had all the racial sentiments coming from the people outside of the court. And then, at the same time, we had the situation where the Asian man killed the brother down in South Carolina just a week prior. And, he got off. Well, I guess they said he was fearful for his life, even though he chased somebody down and shot him in the back. We don't know how these things work. And so the emotions and the flares are drawn. I want to say to all the white people watching, if you see me, you hear my voice, please don't get it misconstrued. Please don't get things twisted. This is a bad situation. We are not animals in our community, despite what the media portray. And we're not, when I say we, I'm speaking up to me and my homies and the people I know, my uncles and whatnot. We're not going to tolerate nobody disrespecting us with no racism or no type of aggression. So y'all got to control your tempers and reel it in a little bit. And the same way for the brothers out there, if you're not ready to go to an all-out war, meaning when I step on the battlefield, I step out to die. Anybody can go out to unalive somebody. That don't
Right.
take no heart. It takes a man to go into war and be willing to lay down his life. That's the soldiers I like to stand beside. So if you're a brother and you ain't about that, don't go out here and start no SHIT that you can't back up, that you ain't willing to go in that
Right.
ground for, man. Because you're gonna get all of us dragged into some shit. And I'm not for it. And I'm just catching what's going on in the media. And I do want the kids to be under control. I do want the law to act within reason to make sure the kids are under control. And I want this shit to end right here, right now. Because when I step out here and someone watch something happen in the media and they think they're going to take it out on me because of the color of my skin, it's going to be another bad day for everybody's families involved.
The thing is, you a kid, man. When you a kid, you ain't got no right to take nobody's life at school, man. Like, if you feel threatened or hurt, go tell an adult. Austin Metcalf, yes, he shouldn't have pushed him. Shouldn't have put his hands on him as black. He put his hands on me. He shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, no one deserves to die for a shove, especially at a school event. Because I don't know if it could have been my kid that shoved somebody. Do I want them to get stabbed through the heart? No. So
No.
we just have to understand. We know everybody behind the safety of a keyboard is tough and they the biggest gangster and the most savage, but these same people, they couldn't say they couldn't honestly say that they would think their kid deserved to get stabbed to death for simply pushing someone. And people don't know who the bullies are going to be, because it could be very nice parents who got a kid who go to school and be a bully. You know what I'm saying? You don't know, but kids will be kids. Austin overreacted. That's it, and it's a sad situation, but Austin Metcalf is not here anymore. He can't come back. Carmelo at least has the opportunity to get out in 17 years and he can have a family and get a job and work and might even get out sooner than that. But yeah, people just got to learn to control their emotion. These people nowadays are too hyper emotional. They're not thinking things through. They have no respect for authority. But and then I see somebody in the comments like, "We're done bowing down and da 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 da." Listen, let me tell you something. You can fight a white man all day, right? And you can kill him. But the minute you turn around and let them put handcuffs on you, you bow down. So understand that if you ready to fight and you ready to do a race war like y'all think y'all ready to do, you better understand that it's to the death.
Yep.
Because if you turn around and let the police put a handcuff on you, you bowed down,
You
and that
bow
negated
down.
everything you didn't fought for.
Yep.
So think it through. I'm not telling you what to do, but think it through and think of how you're gonna take yourself away from your kids and your family and all that stuff. And they're not gonna think my daddy fought for my freedom. They're gonna think my dad like did something stupid and got himself taken away from me, and now he couldn't raise me and mentor me and stuff like that. We are in a society where you can make a lot of change through political systems or even just these organizations. Look at Black Lives Matter. They got $90 million for just running their damn mouth a lot. So there are better ways to do things, and you should explore those different ways. Don't be somebody talking about I don't even believe in voting, but I want to kill somebody. Try that way first. Try the peaceful way first. Then if you got to resort to violence, then do that. But don't just jump off the porch ready to kill over something and you don't even fully understand the consequences. Because I really think that's what happened to Karmelo. He didn't really understand, the repercussions of what he did. He thought he was going to be because that's why he told on himself. Oh, he put his hands on me and I did it. He thought in his mind that he really was going to just get to walk away from that. And he didn't. He didn't realize this was serious. We're going to go final thoughts, but first I want to let my boy Costa Zulu, what you got going, brother? What's your opinion? I already know. Lock him up, huh? Throw away the key. Costa.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for allowing me to come up. I know I am late. I didn't catch the broadcast, but I did my research on the parents, man. I know that they had got a public defender for that boy, and I'm like, no way in hell, my boy is fighting life in prison, and I'm gonna get a public defender, and I just got all that money. So I just thought it was careless on the parents' part. And then I looked into it a little further and actually saw his father. I'm like, that's his daddy? Oh yeah, they bogus. Like his dad don't even really look like a man. I ain't trying to judge a dude manhood or nothing like that. But bro, like he had the coon ass and mama had struggle with me, man. And on top of that, what raised the red flag to me is they were calling blackity black, 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 blackity black. Oh, it's racism. But he had a little white Hispanic girlfriend. So, that was a red flag when I saw that. I'm like, was he really blackity
I
black,
mean,
black, or was he
how
just
can you
doing it?
blame him for who he smashing though? I mean, he live in Frisco, dog. Ain't nothing but
I mean,
whites and
I'm not
Hispanics
blaming.
out there.
Listen, I'm not blaming them for who we smashing, but I'm telling you, it's plenty of black people in Frisco for him to go around for him to date, bro.
Well,
Probably
let's
down
I
in
be
his
honest. Let's
studio.
be
You never
honest.
know.
You think Gen Z? I don't think too many Gen Z believe in racism. They didn't grow up with segregation and stuff
They
like we
don't.
did in the 60s and 70s. I don't think Gen Z believe in racism for the most part.
They
My
don't.
daughter don't know anything about it. So I
Nope.
don't know, I just think he made a bad judgment call. I think he should have walked away instead of trying to be tough or trying to stand his ground. And
So
do I
so
think
it sounds like this is the parents' indoctrination that took over.
well, you
Because if
said
he
his
don't know
dad
nothing about
no,
racism, if
his
he don't
dad
know nothing about racism, who told him to cry racism?
did
Did
the
he even
defense,
cry racism?
did Charleston White tell him to do that? I mean, where did that come from?
Man, it was the parents, man.
Bro,
Like they
that's the parents' indoctrination.
yeah,
That's their
he's
mindset.
when you go to Louisiana, everybody a crack of this, crack of that. They didn't move from there to a place that's predominantly black to a very white and Hispanic area. I know there were conversations in the house about these crackers this and these crackers that. And a lot of us don't realize when you be saying this stuff to your kids in front of your kids, even though you be capping, they believe this crazy horror stories and stuff you be telling. So he could have been like, man, if the white boys come at me, I gotta be ready to kill. Who knows? But the parents just seemed like they was a little bit slow at the end of the day when I watched that interview. They seemed like they're a little touched.
They definitely look slow, bro. They look off. That's why I'm like the daddy. He was bucking his ass when he was talking and shit. I'm like, man, this is daddy. No, he didn't stand a chance with these parents, man. Not with that struggle weave his mama had on.
Maybe they're still in shock. Maybe they're going through trauma or PTSD. I would be hurt if my child
Yeah,
took
for
another
real.
child's life.
But you ain't heard enough to put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah,
I ain't
see, that's
buying it, bro.
embarrassing. I mean, it's not embarrassing to me because, just because they're my brothers don't mean they're my brothers. But yeah, how they spent the money and all the social media buffoonery added on top of such a serious event,
Exactly.
that's a bad look. I don't dig it.
Nah, yeah, real talk, real talk. Guys, we're gonna do final thoughts. We're gonna go around because I gotta go check out this little movie. So let's go. Let's start with my brother, Africulture. What's your final thoughts? 1 minute.
Yeah, man, we y'all social media people that's doing all the pro black stuff, man, y'all just gonna have to take this ill. You know what I'm saying? Your boy made a bad decision. I would have liked him. I would have liked to see him go out of high school, go into college and all that, but he made a bad decision. I've been in this situation. Brandon been in this situation. I'm sure Casper has. I'm sure Mr. Mullins has. You know what I'm saying? They done been assaulted. You done done the assaulting. You done been jumped. All that, bro. And we all still right here. And nobody stabbed nobody, bro. You either caught flight or you threw them hands, dog. That's how we came up. We came, I got the scars on my head to prove it. You know what I'm saying? I done been there, done that,
Hey,
dog.
facts, 100, bro, 100.
He said the scars on his head.
Hey, for real though, it's fight or flight, bro. That's my concept, bro. Like, live to fight another day, man. We ain't gotta take it there.
Yeah, it's not worth it. I wish he had. I blame the parents at the end of the day. I wish the parents would have, instilled a little better values in bro. But I mean, they the type that they blaming it. They won't even walk back none of what they saying, even if that means they could get their son a better shake. They're just like he never had a chance. The white, well, bro, you still going in. Even if you appeal, you still gonna be going in front of a bunch of white folks. Like, calm down with the racially charged rhetoric and see how you can work things out. But they know best for their son. But thank you, Costa.
Peace, peace, brother.
All right. So James, you are the new guy, so you get the final minute. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I just want to say this to all my younger generation, Gen Z. I can't apologize, for my generation, but I see how we failed you all. I see that a lot of the things the young men and Gen Z are going through is our fault. Your fathers weren't at home. They were locked up, a lot of them, for selling crack in the 80s and 90s. Your uncles were locked up. You grew up with your mother. You grew up with your grandmother and your aunties. And maybe that's why you don't know how to fight as good as we do. Maybe that's why you don't have the grit the way, we do. I grew up with a father in the home. Most of us did in that generation. Our fathers were hardworking, honest men. That was our role models. What we did in the late 80s and the 90s, we chose to do. There was no reason for none of us to sell no crack in no 1986 with our pops working as hard as they were working to put food on the table and to pay that rent and that mortgage. It was disrespectful to our fathers and our grandfathers. We disrespected one another with the gang business, and then we passed it on down to y'all in the music and in entertainment. And I wish the government would have banned the rap music and the rap videos a long time ago when they saw the guns and drug promotion and being pimps and all of that. I just want y'all to take life serious because life is very serious. Stay out of the hospital, stay out of the penitentiary, stay out of the grave. Just don't get so turned up. Stay to yourself. Find a true friend, someone that don't want you in trouble, someone that really loves you, and take life very serious. Y'all have to really come out of the spell you're under. And I believe that's why the brother Karmelo got into the trouble he got into. He didn't have to come out and be no tough guy.
Yeah. Run track, bro. Run track, bro. Play football, man. Don't plot on how you gonna kill somebody with a knife, man. The one thing that's damning for bro is like, bro, you an athlete competing in the track meet. Why do you have a damn knife, bro? Like, it just don't. It doesn't look good for bro. But thank you so much, James. I appreciate you coming up. You're always welcome. Please subscribe to the channel
All right.
if you like the content. Thank you. But guys, thank you for being here with me. I appreciate everything. It's really great to see you guys coming in and enjoying the content. whether you agree with it or not. Subscribe to the channel. It's good to have a little pushback, or it's good to find people who validate, you know, what you believe, and it's also good to have people who push back on the things you believe. That's how you know that you're righteous in your beliefs. We are gonna call it quits today. I got some things to do, but thank you so much for watching this. Until the next time, take care of yourselves, but most importantly, please take care of each other. Peace.